up determined to deliver a better life for the people all across America that have been ignored, neglected, and abandoned. This is a quote by your current president, Donald Trump. Today, I will be persuading you to vote for Donald Trump as your 2020 president. First, I will address how difficult it is to know what is true in the political world, and then I will help you find that truth by proving why you should vote for Donald Trump as your president. After this, I'll explain the outcome of what will happen when you vote for him and set you up for success in taking action to vote for him. This year, there is a presidential election involving candidate Donald Trump. The problem is that there are no positive facts being spread about him in the media. Since you are all of voting age, this fall you will be given the opportunity to participate in a presidential election, and it's a great privilege. You will be heading to the ballot box and dropping off your vote for the presidential election. Voting is a constitutional freedom that you have been given as a U.S. citizen. In President Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, he says that these men shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. This reminds us that men and women have died for our freedom to exercise this voting right, and that the United States was designed by our forefathers to be run by the people, for the people. The right to vote is not something to be taken for granted. Other countries do not have the blessing of a democratic republic like my friends in Haiti. This gives me the passion for the freedom that I have to vote. So here I am to help you find those facts to persuade you to vote for Donald J. Trump. The news delivers plenty of negative facts and biased opinions. I cannot find a single article in the Washington Post that sheds a positive light on Donald Trump's 2020 election. Even Christianity Today posted an article in November to persuade Christians to impeach Donald Trump based on negative opinions and biased facts. Since there's nothing positive being presented, we have to know that we are not getting the full review. This problem directly affects us because we are all of the voting age in this class, and we should be educated with all of the facts to vote for Trump. And since all the negative facts are being presented, I'm here to show you the positive ones so that you will want to vote for Trump. Allow me to shed a positive light on Donald Trump so that you can feel confident when you vote for him this November. He is a great businessman. He was not bred as a politician for presidency. He is not owned by donors or elites, and he does not owe anyone. He was put in the presidency by American people, the voters. Our country was founded on this. Our forefathers were not bred for politician and presidency. They were just common men. He has created an amazing economy, the strongest and healthiest economy that the United States has seen in at least 50 years. He has created the largest reduction in the Federal Registry in the history of America. Before elected, Trump promised us that he would cut 2 regulations for every 1 regulation that was put on the books. And Charlie Kirk told us within Trump's 500 days of presidency, he'd cut 22 regulations for every 1 regulation. This resulted in $1.8 billion in lifetime savings. He also has the lowest unemployment rate in 18 years, especially in the Latino and African American communities. He also has the largest tax cut in American history with the repealing of the individual mandate, and 2 million fewer Americans are on food stamps. As for foreign affairs, so many countries love him. To name a few, Israel loves him, and he always protects Israel. Saudi Arabia Prince loves Trump, and he works to create lower gas prices in America for us. And Italy loves him, and they had a parade for him in February of 2019. As for our country, he has made us an independent country that does not have to rely on other countries. We are self-sufficient and not dominated by other countries. For the first time in the United States history, we are creating our own oil and producing it, and we are even exporting it to other countries, not relying on other countries for oil. As the President of the United States, he is sworn in to uphold the Constitution. He has never backed away from that promise. First of all, he elected Supreme Court judges who uphold constitutional things like the sanctity of life and the Second Amendment. Trump protects our U.S. borders by setting up border patrol and walls, a promise that he made during his presidential election. I live on a border town, and I have 5 border patrol agents just in my neighborhood. And they all love Trump because he values and supports them, and he validates their job. He will not have the Second Amendment right taken from U.S. citizens. The NRA posted a quote that with Donald Trump, the nation's firearm owners have a true champion who has repeatedly pledged to preserve the Second Amendment by assuring that the impending U.S. Supreme Court vacancies will be filled with justices who will preserve our unique liberty. He also protects the sanctity of life. He is the first president ever to join and speak in the March for Life. Just after taking office, President Trump reinstated and expanded the Mexico City policy, cutting off $9 billion in foreign aid to be used for global abortion industry. He also cut off taxpayer funding for the UN Population Fund, which funds abortions in China, which are forced abortions. He loves religious freedom. In January, he passed a law to protect prayers in private schools called the Right to Pray. He stated that the government must never stand between the people and God. This is his expression in efforts to stray from totalitarianism in government. During his first year in office, President Trump signed an executive order upholding religious liberty and the right to engage in religious speech. Last year, Trump was the first president in the United States history to hold a UN meeting for the protection of religious freedom. He himself is God-fearing and strong in his faith. He says, "In America, we don't worship government, we worship God." Trump says he is a Christian, he is a Presbyterian, and a Protestant. So this way we know he's not just talking about religion in general, but he really means our one true God. He chose a vice president who is a bold claiming Christian, and there are other men who can also attest to his faith. Trump has 25 men who mentor him daily, and they have a weekly Bible study on Wednesdays together. He's also close to the Graham family and leans on them for godly advice in leading our country. And he privately gave his testimony to Dr. James Dobson, who later confirmed that Trump's faith is genuine. And in the Decision Magazine February 2020 article, Wayne Grudem had an article where he talks about Trump's fruits of the Spirit, that he has portrayed in his past 3 years of presidency. He is also adamant about saying Merry Christmas. This is one of his election promises that he fulfilled. He said he would never say Happy Holidays. Trump also has a strong character, which is one of his greatest qualities as our president. I just want to start by saying that we all fall short of the glory of God, and that Trump is not a perfect man, and his past may have faults, but we are all filthy and unrighteous and undeserving of the grace of God. So we need to show Trump our grace and our forgiveness, and that all of these claims that are still being said about him and the things that he's done in his past are from years ago, before he was ever president or ever claimed Christ as his Savior. He's a very confident man. This is a very crucial quality in being a leader and being successful. He is not a people pleaser or politically correct. He makes his yes be yes and his no be no. He does not shy away from saying what needs to be said or what needs to be done, even if it might upset some people. He has never let hate stop him from bettering our country. He has tough, thick skin, and he doesn't let anything rattle him. He's constantly being torn down and attacked, and he always lives in recovery mode from every assault, never having any downtime, and he always has to bounce back. He remains a confident and strong leader throughout all of these attacks. He also doesn't drink. He never wants anything to alter his mind or become a weakness to him, so he lives his life very purposeful by not drinking. He exemplifies integrity and actually works to fulfill his promises. Charlie Kirk says he's the first president in American history to be attacked by the media for keeping his promises. Some of his promises were moving the embassy to Jerusalem, withdrawing from TPP, massive deregulations, canceling of the Iran deal, reversing Obama's gun executive order, branding China a currency manipulator, repealing Obamacare, and also building the wall, which is something he continues to work on as he gets around regulations from the Pentagon. But if nothing else, you know you can vote for Trump because he has a patriot heart and he loves America. He believes in the American people. He's for all people, every color, every class, every nationality. Trump loves legal immigrants. His wife Melania was an immigrant herself. He also loves our military. He wants to keep our sacred country safe and protect our freedoms. The free world is the safest when America is strongest. Donald Trump. He sacrificed everything for America. He already had everything. He was a famous, successful, rich businessman. He didn't need to become the president of the United States to become somebody. It actually hindered him to become president. His whole family took the brunt for his presidency. His own daughter, Ivanka Trump, has lost her business with Nordstrom with her clothing line because they don't want to be affiliated with her. His whole family is sacrificing. He selflessly sacrifices his successful life for a life of constant battle and hatred, all for our great country. This is one of the most admirable qualities about Donald Trump. Donald Trump made America great again, and if you vote for him, he will win the election and will continue to keep America great. If you do not vote for Trump, he will not win the election. He will not continue to improve America, and everything I have told you about today will no longer be of high value or priority in America. He needs your vote to win. Now that I have accurately informed you about your president, Donald Trump. Your part is easy. This fall, you will get a ballot in the mail. All you have to do is check a box that says Donald Trump. We are called to live our lives to glorify God, and Donald Trump values the things that the Lord holds dear. So in great confidence, we know that we can vote for Donald Trump and glorify God with our vote for Donald Trump. Thank you.